Hello, hello. This is Ignacy from Portal Games.
And Corey Thompson from Above Board TV and Dice Tower Dish.
And this is the Podfather of Gaming, Stephen Bonacore. You are listening to Board Games Insider, episode 334. And we're recording this on September 5th, 2024. Board Games Insider is proud to be powered by Board Game Geek. The band is back together, guys. This is awesome. And we had to, of course, accommodate Ignacy's schedule because, he's got some event, like the 25th anniversary of Portal Games is right now. So that is really cool, man. Why don't you
Just this once. We're not delaying for the 25th anniversary again. You get one time.
125th anniversary delay. Ignacy, well, why don't you just take it over here and tell us all about what's going on, especially this just tremendous event.
We must promote your YouTube channel. So let me start that I'm not in a regular t-shirt. I'm now looking awesome because I'm in a regular shirt. So everybody who's watching on YouTube can see me looking like official because we were so today very official. Yes, we are celebrating 25 years of the company. We picked the month of September to celebrate 25 years because the first product ever released was September 1999. It was the first issue of magazine Portal about role-playing games back then. So yes, 25 years passed like a one day, and it's passed. The employee who works the longest and still in the office, still in the company, is Rafał Szyma, who is our marketing manager, and he works at the company for 17 years.
That's
so
great.
Wow.
it's quite a time. So he spent most of his life with me in the office. So of course, a lot of young faces today celebrating with me, old boss, and me sharing different stories. We had a birthday cake, obviously. We had a lot of fun. I got a gift for all my employees because today we are releasing a Polish edition of the book that was already released in English. That is Board Games That Tell Stories. It was never released in Polish.
Oh, wow.
Because my blog was in English initially. So to celebrate our anniversary, we are releasing this book today in Polish, and of course, each employee got it signed so they can read all these crazy stories about the past of our company. And we are going to celebrate this for the 4 days. So I'm obviously crazy, and our fans already know it. So today we did a very short live stream for our fans to celebrate, have a cake, and just have some fun. But tomorrow we are starting a big promotion in our website, the Polish website only. Sorry for our listeners. And for every single order that will be put in our website, we will give 5 mini expansions to our games. So this is the concept that Steven will understand. That this is the concept like a Bilbo Baggins doing a birthday. So Bilbo was giving gifts at his birthday, right?
That's
so this
right.
Is what we are. So this is what we are doing. Everyone who will buy anything from our website will get a gift, 5 mini expansions for free because it's our birthday. So this is our Bilbo concept. And then on Saturday, because our DNA for years was just doing good, being a good company, doing good. So I'm celebrating 25th birthday of my company with 12 hours live stream, a charity stream, and we are going to do a charity auction for 12 hours. All the signed games and some unique games and some original artwork from the old games, and we are going to put these items on the charity. So 12 hours of me playing games and doing ridiculous stuff on a live stream, and then 4th day of the celebrating. On a Sunday, we are releasing a 1-hour documentary about the beginnings of Portal Games, and we have interviews with all the old employees from the 1999. We have Michael Oracz, we have Marcin Blacha, we have Tomasz Duszek, all the old guys who were with me these 25 years ago. So it will be a real treat for our fans in Poland.
Wow.
So
Very
yes,
cool.
4 days celebration, all crazy stuff. I'm very excited. Obviously, this is my life, my history, my passion. So I'm very, very proud. And this was happening in Poland. In America and in Europe, we of course started pre-orders for Essen. I have with me Resurgence, the game that you are racing at Essen, and to slightly celebrate our anniversary with our English fans as well. We will have a new volume, number 3 of my book. So Board Games That Tell Stories number 3. The third book in the series will be released at Essen, and you can go to our website and grab a copy, pre-order copy for you, and read all my ridiculous stories about game design for the past years. So third book on our website, Resurgence, our new game for Essen as well, and a couple of other things, new expansion for Neuroshima, etc. So go to portalgamesus.com and check out what we have for Essen this year. We have a lot this year, and this is I let you guys speak, like, because I am over energized today. Like, I need to just calm down.
That is so awesome.
This is a new Ignacy. He's
This
happy.
is yes, once in a lifetime.
Wow.
I'm smiling.
I'd say about once a year I get
Okay.
non-Slavic.
I always get it. So along those lines, I actually posted last night the last section of my online interview with Ignacy. It's
beautiful.
A little
perfect
late,
timing.
but this is
perfect timing.
Well, Ignacy and I, you guys probably know, I do Dice Tower Dish, where I take designers and people in the industry, I take them out to dinner, literally put a recorder in the middle of the table and just record the whole conversation for all of a meal. I've done 30 something designers now, and just finished is Ignacy's interview, which we did at Dice Tower East maybe in 2022. So it's an old interview, but what's really interesting is when we did the dinner, I didn't really know Ignacy at all. We had spoken on occasion, we knew of each other, but it's really interesting to listen to this interview, listen to all the stories about early Portal, which I absolutely love. I would have Ignacy tell those stories over and over and over. But the interactions and telling about projects that didn't come to be, projects which succeeded, projects which didn't, it's really an interesting window into the past. So it's on dicetowerdish.com, 6 parts. It's all
Awesome.
written, so you gotta expand your reading skills. With me, I've just come off of Cardboard Alchemy, which had a large group filming at the house for their upcoming games, Critter Kitchen, Andromeda's Edge. It was a really fun group. A lot of influencers had a fantastic time. After that, Lucky Duck had come and visit for just a social visit. This was the core US team of Lucky Duck, and we just had such a good time hanging out at the house. And I'm getting ready for Essen. Above Board is going to go to Essen. So if anybody out there wants a meeting with the Above Board team, with Travis and I, just let me know. I'm starting to set everything up now. So that's the insanity going on in my life. And of course, Steven's going to tell us exactly when Bilbo's birthday is, because it came up in conversation. And then we'll find out what's going on with Master Bonacore.
September 9th.
Wrong.
Wrong?
You know nothing.
12th?
You know nothing. You want a third guess?
10. No, it's right in that area. It's like the
it's 10th, not. It's 10th. The 22nd.
Oh, it's right in that area. I'm
22nd. 22nd of September.
Yes, is Bilbo's birthday.
Is Bilbo's birthday.
I have birthday September 23rd.
There you go.
The day after Bilbo. Very cool.
Okay, Corey. What year was it?
What year?
What year was Bilbo born? Yeah.
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. So big shot.
And then you got 63.
Then you looked it up. You got to give it to me in Shire Reckoning.
Here's my hands.
Shire Reckoning and in Middle Earth.
This is exactly this sort of board games insider knowledge our listeners are looking for. This is why they're listening to us. This is right. business stuff.
This is
By the way,
absolute business.
I've been chatting with a certain actor from The Lord of the Rings. So you go on. Tell me what's going on.
Yeah. All right. I still have not posted my ultimate mocking of you and your lack of knowledge of Lord of the Rings. I am going to be posting it this week now because you have now pissed me off. Get ready for Frodo, Elijah Wood, telling Corey how little he knows about Board Games Insider, wherever you are on the screen. I don't know.
So happy I'm back.
I'm so happy you're back. I don't have to put up with him as much. Anyway, over here at the Podfather of Gaming, I came out of the Dice Tower retreat this past weekend. We had a great time there. I got to play Thunder Road Vendetta, new unreleased expansion, Carnival of Chaos. And this was full production copy, so it wasn't a prototype. Justin Jacobson of Restoration Games is a sponsor of the Dice Tower Retreat, and he brought a copy in. I got to play it. I wanted to play it more than just the one time, but it was pretty packed. So big shout out there. If you're a fan of the game, it's basically must have. It changes it from a race to like Demolition Derby. You're fighting in a circular arena where you're picking up super weapons that Turbo Tina is giving you, and party favors like one-shot deals and stuff like that. Very, very cool. This week, we're going to be flying out. Actually, Monday, we're going to be flying out to New Jersey, see Mom again, but then getting on the BGG at Sea cruise, which is 9 nights going to New England and Canada. Can't wait. I've actually been on a similar itinerary already, and it's a beautiful, those towns up there are really lovely. So really looking forward to that. Yeah. Especially, as this time of year, the leaves start to turn and things like that. Should be really, really nice. And then once I get back, I fly directly to the World Series of Board Gaming, which, as everyone knows, I am an investor and on the board of directors. Anybody in Vegas or that general area, especially like a lot of Dice Tower West attendees, really should consider coming, because even if you don't want to compete, we are now selling open gaming tickets to this. So you can open game, you can meet designers, we can hang out and do Vegas things. Yes. Fun stuff. No outdoor sales. So check out WSBG, World Series Board Gaming Vegas, WSBGVegas.com, and get a ticket. Get the cheapest open gaming ticket, and let's just hang out and have a good time there. Quick shout out to Mark Maya, good friend and content creator. He just launched a Kickstarter, or is about to launch it. By the time you hear this, he might have launched it, for his comic book series. He does his own comic book series called So-Called Living. So it's a zombie inspired, where this teenager becomes or knows zombies. I'm not exactly sure, but the art looks amazing, and he writes the comics, so it's really, really cool. Kickstarter, So-Called Living, books 3 and 4 are now up there.
I just want to say that Mark is doing amazing YouTube channel, and besides his comic book that I will now research, obviously, but if you are not in the comic books but just the board games, Board Game Cafe is insanely awesome channel. Funny, witty, interesting, great edits, great channel. I love them.
Thank you. Yeah, he really is a good guy, and they do a really good job there. In the meantime, let's get over to the event deck. All right, so we have a few items this week. Last week, very slow. This week, not as slow. We have a bunch of things we can talk about. The first one being that the Brandon Sanderson Cosmere Universe RPG has become the top funding game on Kickstarter ever. Yes. And it went over $15 million. And Cephalofair, which held this for Frosthaven, right, posted a congratulation, and they passed the torch to them.
Really
very
cool.
Classy. Very, very classy.
Had done almost 13 million. It had done 12.9. So this is a little over that. And congratulations to Brotherwise Games. They're just knocking it out of the park.
I mean, we talked about this last week when they were only at 12 million. And, with the thought that, yeah, they're probably going to beat the Frosthaven campaign. To have something like this for this small company just is incredible. To have this relationship with Brandon Sanderson, inarguably, I would say, the best sci-fi fantasy writer out there, and arguably one of the most prolific and great writers currently writing. That's just amazing for them.
Yeah, Sanderson is certainly taking over our little corner of the nerdverse, because he's had now 2 crowdfunding campaigns for books. The most famous one was this enormous 30-something million dollar crowdfunding campaign for books he happened to have written over the pandemic. and wasn't really intending on publishing. He just put a crowdfunding project out and it blew up the
Yeah, you know,
internet.
gets $35 million like that. You know, wow.
And Brotherwise has coming up still the Brandon Sanderson Mistborn deck builder by John D. Clare. So we'll see what happens with that.
Very, very cool. The next one, well, press release, and it was covered on various channels as well. But I get the press releases from Embracer Group anybody can get them. You just have to subscribe to them. But as a minor, like, you know, a few shares of investor, I keep track of what they're doing. Embracer Group, in their press release, announces the appointment of Thomas Hulger as the new CEO of Asmodee and a board of directors and a member of the board of directors of Asmodee Group. Very summarizing the whole thing. Embracer Group AB, Embracer, announces the appointment of Thomas Hulger as the new chief executive officer of Asmodee Group. A board of directors. The English here is not particularly good. He's a member also of the board of directors of the Swedish parent company Embracer, and the future listed entity, right? Because as we've covered on this, Embracer is splitting into 3 separate companies. Asmodee will be one of them by itself, publicly traded. You can own Asmodee all by itself coming up at the end of the first quarter of next year. The board is going to be comprised of Lars Wingefors, who's the chairman of the board, Kiki Walgelund, deputy chair, Stefan Carville, who's retiring as the CEO of the Asmodee Group, but he's going to remain on the board of directors, Mark Nunes, also of the Asmodee Group, Jacob John Myron, and Linda Holjo. Sorry about my bad Swedish pronunciation to the Scandinavians out there. But this is very interesting news. So they went from the inside because Thomas Kulger has been a long time. Thank you. Longtime person at Asmodee. Of course, Stefan Carville started the company with Mark Nunes, so they're going to be on the board. But they promoted from within, and I think this bodes very well for the future of the solo, once again, and now publicly traded Asmodee Group.
Yeah, I saw quote here when there was released that he was quoted that he wants to make Asmodee more and more independent from the Embracer. Like this is exactly what you are saying, that he wants to have this Asmodee doing what they want to do without, I guess, reporting on getting like a suggestion from Embracer. So the quote that was along with this press release was he wants to make Asmodee as independent as possible from Embracer. And there is also a very interesting quote from Patrick Leder from Leder Games on Twitter. He said, "Nobody asked him that there is open position for this position because he would consider." So greetings to Patrick for the sense of humor, and it was very, very funny tweet.
I will neither confirm nor deny if I was asked. I will neither confirm nor deny.
I was too busy.
You were too busy. Ignacy's got his own thing, and I like hanging out on the beach. So no, thank you. Derek Funkhauser, not good friend, really great guy. He's joining Lucky Duck as partner manager for the Global Publishing Network. Corey, please, I think you should tell us a little bit about this one.
So this is a fantastic ad for Lucky Duck. And as people probably know, Lucky Duck was recently acquired by Goliath Games. Goliath is, not to, pun intended, it's an enormous company that generally works in mass market. But they have acquired Lucky Duck, and they're using Lucky Duck as the entire strategic arm of their company. So Lucky Duck is going to drive hobby board games for Goliath. Derek comes from Wise Wizard Games, where he was director of game development and production. Absolutely fantastic guy. So I was speaking a little bit with Scott Morris, who's the number 2 at Lucky Duck. He was at the house recently, and he's super excited about everything that's going on. So congratulations to Derek.
Yeah, and if I may, of course, congratulations to Derek. I met him at convention as well. Very nice person. But to explain our listeners, because we always try to at least a little bit educate this global publishing network, what it is. So Lucky Duck Games is representing smaller publishers, and when you are looking for the game for your market, like a Polish market, like a French market, like a Spanish market, all these different markets. So you can work with Lucky Duck Games, and they are like agents or sales agents, we could probably say, for all the smaller different publishers. And they have this catalog, and you may say, we are looking for the interesting deck building, and they have in offer a couple of games from smaller studios. So this global publishing network is a very interesting concept of representing different publishers who don't have networking, who don't have a widespread, and they contact the Lucky Duck Game. Lucky Duck Game is their partner, and they represent them at Essen, Nuremberg, etc., etc. So this is what Derek will be doing right now, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of the big companies that we know in America, just for the games that they personally publish and put out there, they also are distribution and localization companies. Portal is in that boat
Yep.
as well.
Yep.
Portal does a huge amount of localization. Well, I'm speaking for you, but Portal does a huge amount of localization and distribution in the Polish market.
Right.
And Lucky Duck does similar things for a lot of different global markets.
Very, very cool. CMON posted, they are also a publicly traded company, very open, have to be very open about what they do with their revenue. And they have posted their first half revenue for 2024, and it has fallen almost 25% year over year amid heavy slump in wholesale earnings. So a little bit from that that release on we're scraping this one actually off of Board Game Wire. Thank you to those guys. Zombicide publisher CMON's mid-year revenue has fallen for the first time since the pandemic, with slumping wholesale earnings putting a dent in the company's H1 first half results. Now, by the way, we're talking their sales into from their to distribution, sales to distribution, or from distribution into retail. We're not talking about what they did in Kickstarter, but the big portion was the slumping earnings into their into wholesale. CMON posted revenue of just over 15.9 million in the first half of 2024, down 24.9% compared to the roughly 21.1 million it recorded in the same period. That remains a significant amount of revenue within the board game industry, despite the drop. Earlier this year, Stonemaier Games, the publisher of popular titles including Wingspan and Scythe, revealed it had total revenues of 16.7 million for the entirety of 2023, although that was down almost a third from the record 24.7 million the company reached in 2021. So while this obviously fairly big drop, 25% year over year for that same period, they are recognizing that it's most of their issue here is the distribution sales. They have not indicated that their Kickstarter, I should say crowdfunding sales, have been badly affected at all. And in fact, in February, CMON revealed that it had ended 12 years of running crowdfunding campaigns on Kickstarter, which had raised more than $108 million in total in favor of signing an exclusivity deal with crowdfunding rival GameFound, which Ignacy uses, of course, and are good friends of Ignacy, in fact. So this is interesting news. This is not the death knell or anything like that for CMON, but a very interesting shift, first of all, to GameFound, and of course, a decrease in revenue that they're hitting at the wholesale level, which I think a lot of people are seeing.
Yeah, it's always been a little bit of a financial roller coaster with Cool Mini, but they've always come up on top.
All right, the final story that we're going to have here for you today, it's from Beth Erickson. And why don't you tell us about this one, Corey, because you posted it here.
I was really excited. I've known Beth for a while. Beth Erickson was the former marketing head of Pegasus Spiel North America, and Beth has just joined Restoration Games as part of the marketing department. Restoration famously will assign kind of funny titles to everybody in the company, and Beth is officially lead marketing alchemist. So congratulations to Beth Erickson. She's a fantastic person, so good at what she does, and this will just be a huge boon to restoration.
That
Congratulations.
is very, very cool.
Now, you skipped one of my favorite stories, Master Bonacore.
Because he didn't understand it. That's my gut feeling.
Oh,
Because I didn't understand it. Like, I'm being honest, but I guess
I want to explain this
it's
because
super complicated.
no, it's funny. I did not see
It's
it. I
just
apologize.
cool.
I just ran right past it accidentally.
Just admit it. You don't understand it. Like, be honest with us.
I understand all technology.
Oh.
Remember where I came
All
from.
right.
So go
Okay,
ahead,
all
tell
right,
us
all
all
right.
about this story, you pain.
Okay, so this I think goes with our ongoing discussion of AI and what uses AI has within the industry. There's a group of Google researchers who have a company called Game Engine, ENGEN, and they have created an AI neural network that runs the video game Doom. So this is really cool. They are playing Doom without any game engine. This is playing Doom purely out of AI. It's not because you can train an AI engine and say, make me a movie that looks like Doom, and it'll do it, and it'll look just like Doom. This is not a movie. This is, in essence, an AI that is making a screenshot from Doom. You are playing with a controller, and on the fly, in real time, it's using AI to generate the next frame of the game while you're playing. So it is a fully playable, almost indistinguishable from the original version of Doom running without any game engine. It's just AI generating the game in response to controller movements.
So what we are looking for in the future, that I will tell to AI, I want to play a game that looks like a Doom but has a more, I don't know, Middle Ages vibe, and I want to be able to fly, and it will do it for me just like that?
Yeah, but that's called Hexen, and it did release.
No, so this, yeah, I mean, this is very, very interesting and cool
Interesting.
technology. So we're saying here that the AI is simply generating things on the fly based on whatever input it was given to start, right? So whatever you say, it's do it like Doom. And I just looked at the video that was playing on the site for this link, and it looks like very old Doom, like, you know,
it is exactly Doom. It is all the levels. It is the exact levels of Doom. It's just generating it on the fly using AI technology. Now, it's a huge amount of computing, so it's running at 20 frames a second.
So wait a second, but I didn't read the article.
I knew you don't understand it.
No, I completely. You do not get on his side. Shush. So this is a proof of concept of what could happen. There's no reason on the earth for gamers to take a game, Doom, for instance, and have it generated on the fly. The game is the game. If you have the game, you play the game. If we could utilize this to play a new game, as you just kind of mentioned, whatever, as Ignacy mentioned, I want to play a game set in Middle Earth. Here's some graphics of what it looks like, and here's the map of Middle Earth. Generate things that can happen. And all of a sudden you have a random encounter because you did something, and then all of a sudden something would happen. I can see where this could be very cool.
This proof of concept, like you said.
All right. See, Ignacy, I know exactly
what's an AI-generated game without any game engine. There is no game engine runing in the background. This is just mind-blowing to me.
That is very cool. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for making sure we covered
Cyberpunk.
Very, very cool. And let's get over now to strategy and tactics. So, Ignacy, we, of course, held some questions for you because some of them are always right for you. So
I think it's all Ignacy all the time here.
We have two for him. So Joe B, who's at Beebs on the Geek, when is the 8th faction expansion coming out for Imperial Settlers? I love this game and would love to see another faction added. Also, is there a space for it in my storage box? So Ignacy has really already committed to it. There's space for it, so you've already committed to it. So when's it coming out, Ignacy?
Yeah, the plan was that the initial Imperial Settlers was released in 2014, that is 10 years ago. So we had this initial draft that we will do crowdfunding for the anniversary edition 2024 and the additional faction and have everybody happy. But the whole, I don't want to use curse words, but unfortunate events with Robinson Crusoe campaign put us in the position that we don't want to go to crowdfunding until all the healing will happen, and so we abandoned the project. So the initial, like 2 years ago, if the question is asked 2 years ago, I would say 2024, a new edition of Imperial Settlers and the new expansion, and then Robinson Crusoe happened, and everybody was angry at us, and we deserved it.
Right.
And for some time, we are not doing that. Maybe for the 15th anniversary of Imperial Settlers.
Yeah, there you go. It was asked. This question was asked a year ago. So no, that makes sense. You'll fix up everything in the current campaign, and then you'll do this one. I think that's a great idea. Good answer. Kurt Van Hoyeveld from Belgium. He's a Vitruvian gamer, and he's a big fan of the channel. Thank you, Kurt. Now that Robinson Crusoe's Collector's Edition is finally in its final stages of being printed and shipped, maybe even delivered, depending on when this question is being used, it certainly is being delivered. What are the most valuable lessons Portal Games and yourself have learned from this campaign that suffered from a bunch of problems? There you go.
Yeah, this is so. How many hours we have to discuss this?
Let's summarize this to no more than 1 hour. No, let's make it short answer.
Yeah, for all the creators who may want to learn something on our mistakes, over-promising. Like we wanted to do so much. Like we were so excited, and we read the comments. And this. On one hand, you have this part of the strategy for the crowdfunding. Like listen to the comments, listen what the community want, be in a touch with them, and then react. So we were reading these comments, we were reading these ideas, and we were adding this stretch goal and this stretch goal, and here's a monkey, and Henry's this, and we were so excited, and we have more and more money. The Kickstarter goes amazingly. You are all in this, amazing mood and great community, more and more, and then the campaign ends. Of course, you have a lot of money on your account, but then you have to deliver all these crazy ideas that came during this campaign. So we overpromised, and then designing all these additional stretch goals, all these additional scenarios, all these additional promos took much more time than we wanted. And then the other we are talking about all these major problems, right? And the other major problem, a great trap for the successful crowdfunding campaigns. We wanted to do as many language editions as possible because there was backers from France, backers from Spain, backers from Portugal, and everybody's asking if there will be a language for that. And we say, yes, we are working with the partners. You will have a Portuguese edition, you will have a Spanish edition, you will have Italian edition, and everything goes fine. And then these partners receive these files to translate, and you have 14 companies to work with, and every of these companies do some mistakes, do have some delays or update the files, and then suddenly the process that you projected for the 3 months that the partners will get the files, and 3 months later you have everything translated ready to print. It turns out it takes a year because this one gets the wrong files and this found a mistake, and working with the 15 companies is just insanely chaos. So if you're talking about all these big lessons, or maybe what, if I can say, what backers can expect from us in our future campaigns, for sure we are limiting the number of languages. So we will be responsible for English edition and Polish edition and German edition. I will not go crazy bananas with 15 editions. And for sure we will be very, very cautious about the number of stretch goals unlocked, because it turned out that if we on one part put how many amazing stretch goals we delivered, and on other part we will say how much delay that generated, and the delay generated was much more worse than just few less stretch goals. Like people will be much happy having less stretch goals but having delivered much faster.
Yeah.
So the lesson was we wanted too much. We were too optimistic. We were too proud, too happy. We saw all these backers, all these millions of dollars, and we said it is amazing. And then you work and correct and edit and proofread, and it takes months and months and months. So sorry for all the backers once again. It was our failure. We delivered most of the copies. There is the one last language, Brazilian, Portuguese is on the ship right now. And the next campaigns, much more cautious, less is better.
Perfect answer. Thank you, Ignacy, for all that. That's great.
Thank you.
We have a question from Luke Dixon. It's for all of us. And he's at Black and White 484, and I'm not going to get into all of the details of it. He's talking about a particular campaign that on Kickstarter where they had issues, lots of issues, and could not fulfill their campaign. And the question after all that was, what are your thoughts on publishers who solicit donations from their backers to help cover the cost of erroneous planning and decision-making as it relates to outstanding crowdfunding campaigns? Now,
we've talked about this one a few times. And the thing is, sometimes these Kickstarter campaigns are erroneous planning and decision-making, and sometimes these campaigns are unavoidable conditions in the industry. Most famously, when we had the big shipping crisis, a lot of companies in their campaigns had cargo containers that went from, say, $5,000 for a shipping container to $20,000
or 40,000.
That affects you tremendously.
Yep.
And a lot of companies, I actually really appreciate when the companies would come forward and say, listen, this is the deal. We can't fulfill unless we get this much more money. I don't think they're obligated to fulfill and bankrupt the company in doing so, which some companies have done. Remember, Kickstarter, crowdfunding, this is not a pre-order system.
Yep.
This is seed money to help a company create a product. And sometimes that product will not be created. It's a little bit of a gamble, it's a little bit of a risk. This is not a pre-order. So personally, I really appreciate when I'm told the truth, when I'm told straightforward, hey, we need this much more to ship.
Yeah,
now,
I mean,
if they do it multiple times, I got to wonder what's going on with the company. And that has happened before too.
If I may, yes,
go ahead.
I would
No.
just very short,
No,
because
go
of
for
course it bothers me a lot. So for you, whatever you are, backer or customer, like in general, for you adding $10 or $15 is like a one coffee at Starbucks. For this company is being alive or go out of the business. So if for you is a problematic to sacrifice this one Starbucks coffee to save the company, because they are open, they say, and we know it because we cover it in the Board Games Insider, as you said, these prices are changing over and over again. There is in China, prices go up. These companies are not trying to rob you from money. They are just being super honest and transparent. Things change. There's new conditions, new prices. Please help us. And for you, it's just one coffee. And for them, is being out of the business or not. So I'm always saying, please do it. Please help.
Well, yeah. And my take is that while it wouldn't make me happy, of course, if somebody is asking me for more money after I paid, if it's a difference between getting the game and not getting the game, well, what's that's the reality. So if you want not to do it, the company goes out of business, and your entire price you paid, including shipping, all of that just goes away, and you don't have a game, or you add some money. It doesn't make anybody happy, but if you do it and it saves the game / the company, it's honest with that the company is doing that. And I think that's better than company going radio silence because they can't fulfill it and they just take the money and go out of business, right? Which is also a possibility. That's also a direct possibility. Radio silence, file for bankruptcy, they're out of business. You have no one to sue. If you were even thinking of such a thing, you sue a company, they're out of business, get nothing.
That almost never works. Kickstarter, there's only really, I can think of 2 cases Kickstarter has taken legal actions against a backer. They've done things like raised money for a game, never attempted to make it, bought Ferraris and left the country. Those have gone to legal action.
But because we are all three of us working in the industry and being connected with the industry for years, and we could easily give example of the companies who were in trouble and really needed that, and this is honest and transparent problem that they faced and they needed this help, and we will not be able to give examples of some smart guys who faked that they don't have money. They just wanted to reap the buckets to get more money. Then nobody is reaping you. They are just
No.
companies in trouble and they ask for help. As simple as that.
Chris Dupree, he's at C Dupree. He asks, and I don't quite understand this, so help me out here, Ignacy, maybe Corey too. Will there be a version of Ignacy running executive operations of Portal Games, like Micah from Dictator, so that the real Ignacy can concentrate on board game design and goodwill? Or can Corey set up a board game session playing against or with Micah? Who's Micah?
My goodness.
Who's Micah?
I apologize. I don't know Micah, but I think this question was timed with a press release, Ignacy, oh no, the press release was quite a bit earlier, when you stepped down from a lot of administrative duties with Portal to focus
Portal
on
Games.
game
Portal
design.
Games has at this point Grzegorz Polewka, who is the CEO of the company and runs the whole operation. And the problem for my fans is that when I have less things to do, I started playing role-playing games and historical war games, and instead of designing more games, I'm just playing more games. So it went in an unexpected direction. Maybe I will get back to designing at some point, but at this point, I'm enjoying having Grzegorz Polewka running the whole operation and me having a blast playing these games with my friends these days.
Sometimes you need that mentally, right? You just need to step away for a moment.
A little bit of background. Mika is the world's first AI CEO.
Wow.
Mika is the CEO of Dictador Rum.
And is that what kind of company? Rum? You said rum? Drink?
I think so.
And the AI is making decisions for the company. I assume it's for an alcohol company.
So Mika is an AI CEO.
I listened to the podcast that in America some time ago there was a person who was running for the city mayor, and his program was that he will let AI make all the decisions. Like he promised that he will not do the decisions, but he will ask AI. But he didn't win, so people didn't like the idea.
I don't think people are gonna like that idea. There's enough anti-AI stuff out there. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go. I'm doing right now. I'm gonna type Mika and Dictador into my browser so that later I can come here and check it out, because that's a very interesting concept. But now it's time to get to our play testing. So Corey, last week you had the question, finally giving us a question. So why don't you tell us some?
I have done like 80% of the questions.
Well, I've done recently, but go right ahead. Go right ahead. Take all the credit and ask us the question here.
So the question is, do you actively go out and purchase neoprene game mats when they're available for a game? Do you prefer using a neoprene game mat or traditional cardboard playing board? I was really surprised by this. I thought this would be a no-brainer. Everybody would go neoprene. It's new, it's shiny. But actually, the majority of people who answered were anti-neoprene. Well, not anti, but the majority of people who answered this thread said that they do not get the neoprene for various reasons, storage cost. With the exception that I saw quite a few people who love having neoprene on their game surface, but not a neoprene for a specific game. As you can tell, I'm the other way. I tend to get every neoprene mat that I can get a hold of. And I actually have a lovely storage solution. I have what's known as an architect storage for blueprints, and it stores them rolled up and vertical in these little square slots. And it's a nice little floor cabinet to just keep all these vertical rolls of mats.
I'm Team Corey. I have neoprene mat for everything that is possible, but it's new. Like if you ask me 5 years ago, I would say no, I don't use them. But when I finally figured it out, when I finally start using them, now there is no way back. Like any game that is releasing. If there is neoprene mat, I have it. I love it. It's so comfortable to get these cards in hand from the mat. I love it. I recommend it.
As I mentioned last week, I am nay on the neoprene mats, not because they're not great. They are better. They're lovely. It's easy to pick things up. But the storage of them is so crazy. So William Bricker, good buddy, he says, nah, I have half a dozen mats from All In Pledges, but they sit quietly in the closet. Yes, they do, Bill. And Karen Hola, very good friend from Canada. I like
Love
upgrades to
Karen.
games, and mats fall into that category. I agree that there needs to be better storage solutions for them, though. That said,
Architect blueprint storage, I'm telling you.
That said, a neoprene mat on the gaming table is a must-have. Sorry, Karen, you're crazy. Love you, but you're crazy.
Yeah, but your table has a neoprene mat on the surface. That's what she's talking about, is having one on the surface of your table, not associated with a game, is a must.
Oh, if that's what she's saying, that's good. So yeah, my
Yes.
game table has one, of course. I mean, it's neoprene, it's beautiful.
Busted. So you are using them.
My table has a neoprene mat. We were talking here about neoprene mats that you buy to add to games, and I do it only for games that I would play a tremendous amount, of course, like War of the Ring, for instance. But for most, and I have about a dozen of them, and they just sit there and they just collect dust, and they're aggravating.
Dozen, that's cute.
Jamie Frew said from the UK says no, they're board games, not neoprene mat games. Seriously though, there's something about unfolding and laying out a board that neoprene just can't replace, and you have to pay a fortune for the privilege when you already have a perfectly good board to play on. Not for me. All true.
Nick Shaw wrote, I really like neoprene mats, but I rarely ever buy them because, one, they're pretty expensive. Two, they're a pain to store. They don't fit in the game box. And three, I'm guaranteed to always forget to bring them to a game night, making them fairly pointless. So this is kind of the universal complaints I'm seeing through all the comments are, love having one on the table. It's too expensive, and I don't know how to store them.
Yeah, that's the summary. Corey, you gave us the question for this week. Why don't you talk about it?
Oh, me?
The new question. You actually did one again.
I don't know. Did I do this one?
I don't know. Maybe it was me. Who knows?
I think you did. Okay. If you could be a character in any board game, which one would it be? Obviously, this has to be a game that has either characters or has art or people, something that you can associate with.
Right.
So if you could be a character in any game, what would you be?
I already am a character in the Prelude expansion for Terraforming Mars. I am the eccentric sponsor.
I actually used a picture of that in my interview with Ignacy when you rudely called us in the middle of our dinner.
Yeah, because I knew that you were having that thing. Funny. And so, you guys, anybody here? I mean, would
yeah? I looked at my game shelf, and I definitely don't want to be a person in any board game that I own, because these are either war games and I would get killed in 5 seconds during any battle in any period. I have a Bloodborne, get killed in 5 seconds after the thing starts. I have a Hellboy, got killed immediately. Like every game I look, Massive Darkness, I got killed by the orcs immediately. There's a lot of killing in the games that I own, so I don't want to be part of these games. It's dangerous.
I love it. There's a Dark Souls game. As soon as you open the box, it just says you died.
Yeah, I know. I'm done. No.
Dory?
I kind of like the older game Alchemists, where you make your apprentices do all the horrible, dangerous things. You can make your apprentices test potions, much to their chagrin. I like being the puppet.
Okay,
master.
so I could be part of the game called Ex Libris from, I think, Renegade
Yeah,
Games.
yes.
Because you are managing library. I can do this. This is safe, and I love books.
I love that game.
So, besides my already character there, if somebody wanted to draw me as Aragorn, I think I can do that, or maybe at least Strider. I think that'd be good. I'll ascend to the throne after a while.
You should probably read the books before they put you
Oh
in.
my God.
Oh
Or
my
maybe
God.
the King
You
of
could be
Rohan.
You could be Bill the Pony.
Anyway, so we're asking you this question right now for next week for you to answer us. Ignacy, right now, take the whole thing, Ignacy, the whole thing. There you go. I'm watching him do this. He's going to put this in a thread in our guild on Board Game Geek. And please answer our question. We might talk about your answer to this. I think it's a fascinating question that I put out there. In the meantime, let's get to the final scoring. Thank you so much for listening, and help us spread the word about this podcast by telling your friends to download Board Games Insider wherever they like to get their podcasts, or watch Board Games Insider on the Podfather of Gaming YouTube channel. If you want to be part of the podcast, you can go to our guild on Board Game Geek, ask us questions for the strategy and tactics segment, or answer our question to you from the playtesting segment. They are right there for you to do. I know you're smart enough to find this. Go do that. It helps us out so much. Check out the websites, which are portalgamesus.com, podfathergaming.com, dicetowerdish.com, and play2zgames.com. On social media, interact directly with us on Facebook, like our pages. It's at Board Games Insider, Portal Games US, Podfather Gaming, and Play2Z Games. And X, in Instagram, and Twitter. It's all the same. It's actually all the same. At Portal Games US, at Podfather Gaming, and at Dice Tower Dish. You can find us. And the active YouTube channels are Portal Game Studios, the Podfather of Gaming, and the great Above Board TV. Ignacy on TikTok is Portal Games US. Would really love to see you in person at an upcoming convention in 2024 or later. I will be on BGG at Sea by the time this is dropping. I will be at the World Series of Board Gaming. After that, I'll be at BGG Con in Dallas, Texas. Guys, do you have any more plans? And then PAX Unplugged. Any more conventions that you guys are going to this year?
Well,
I'm visiting a ton of conventions, but in Poland.
In Essen, of course, I will be missing for my niece's wedding, which is very, very, very sad.
And I'm planning on being PAX Unplugged and Board Game Geek in Dallas.
Oh, that's awesome.
Essen is the next one coming up.
Awesome, awesome. Board Games Insider is professionally edited by Joshua Bowman from Tabletop Submarine Podcast. If you want your podcast edited by Joshua, you can reach out to him at tabletopsubmarine@gmail.com. And that lovely voice you hear doing the intros, the outros, the in-between segments is that of Ray Greenlee, and he can be contacted to do your voiceover work at raygreenleevoiceover.com. Gentlemen, any last words for our audience out there?
Yes, please.
Go ahead, Ignacy.
I may tease that I finished this week designing this new faction for the Nemesis Retaliation. So if there are any backers who backed Nemesis Retaliation from Awakened Realms and put a add-on with the new faction, I confirm it's ready and it's freaking amazing and you're gonna love it.
That is absolutely awesome.
I love it.
And Play2Z's Kickstarter campaign for 23 knives funded, getting close to 200%. Only a little bit of time left, so you would not hear about it. You would not be able to go back it, but when the pledge manager opens, you can always do a late pledge. Did well.
Very cool.
Very cool. Everybody, thank you so much. We will see you next time. Bye now.
Thank you.
See you later, everyone.